The attitude is the more important thing. That's the secret ingredient. So here we understood that what is the attitude, right? So one thing I would like to kind of now bring this idea of spirituality. The general tendency of a being is to acquire and accumulate. It feels that power in accumulation. The more I have, more of anything. So today, I mean, here we have money. I was watching some documentary on some tribes, very ancient tribes. They're still living like primitives. There, the richest man is who has number of pigs. He can marry a girl by giving 2 pigs to the father of the girl. So there, the power is with the how many animals they got. So it's always the being, a human being, always wants to feel that control and feel that power. So when we come to meditation, now can I control my mind? That's all we are thinking. Again, control. So the mind is the one which is controlling. Now, who has to control who? Correct? So that is why that accumulation, that power, idea of strength, all this drops off when it comes to the real spiritual practice. So there is no power here. So even we think of God, God should be powerful. But the real way to look at God is neither powerful nor powerless. He's above both. If there is power required, he'll get the power. If there is no power required, there is no power. That's why whenever we think of power, then we'll always think of, oh, what is that another power which can overcome it, which is greater than that power. So that's the human psyche. So what happens when we come to spirituality? There is also some gain and accumulation. Oh, I'm a devote, a true devote of you, Lord, so you better help me. So we demand from the God for our devotion. So that's a transaction again. So the true attitude in spirituality is where the transaction ends. Now we stop transacting with the God, the higher essence, right? So when the transaction in the mind stops, that means there is no giving, there is no gaining. So my devotion has no value and his grace has no value. So I am, he is, when we are together, that is all we need. That is spirituality, that is yoga. Where you and I are there, at some point, the I will merge into the you, so there is no you and I. That's the whole attitude we are trying to gain, or that is the attitude we are going to show for our spiritual progress. Again, progress is not another gain or benefit. It is all about becoming. So understand that when we become, it is permanent. When we gain something, what is gained can be lost. So all gains or losses are short-lived. We want to get something, we want to become something which is permanent, and that becoming is progressively towards the higher status, higher essence, higher dimension, higher consciousness. So if I look in that perspective, the my spiritual relationship, my spiritual practice, and what the guru has the role to play, the master has the role to play. As a seeker, as a practitioner, I have a role to play. So I play my role very well. I try to play my role very well, assuming the guru will also play his role very well. That's all the spirituality is about. And that is the kind of attitude we want to bring here. No transaction. Will I become calm after 10 meditations? That's a transaction. Will my life gets better? That's a transaction. Will my sickness heal because I'm practicing meditation? That's a transaction. So in meditation, there is no asking. Then you can say in prayer, are we asking when we say thou art the real God and power? In prayer also, we are not asking. In prayer, prayer is an expression of inner need to become one with it. All prayer is an inner need. The Chariji gave a very good example. When a small infant baby cries, the mother rushes to attend to that baby. So why baby is crying? All that it is crying is it is expressing some need. It's hungry, maybe, or its diaper needs to be changed, maybe, or it's feeling hot, maybe. Mother will figure it out why the baby is crying. Baby just cries. It doesn't say I'm hungry. It doesn't say my diaper needs to be changed. Mother will figure it out. So every prayer is like that cry where we express the inner need, only the need, not the solution. We pray always, with the solution. And we wonder why our prayers are not working. You see? So a prayer is an expression of inner need, and the ultimate essence will figure it out what needs to be done. Okay. So with that, we'll finish this topic of attitude. I don't know why this font is. So let's move to this. Ebook is acting up today. So in any endeavor, a sense of urgency is crucial. It is the first step to creating change without a sustained sense of urgency. It's interesting. Let me close my Kindle and then come back again. Okay. Now it's better. Sense of urgency, right? In any endeavor, a sense of urgency is crucial. It is the first step to creating change without a sustained sense of urgency. Efforts become lukewarm and complacency sets in. So, in our journey to the center, a sense of urgency helps us focus on the priorities. Make a habit of asking yourself this question: what is the most important thing to do in this moment? It will help you recenter and cultivate a sense of urgency towards your goal. I think it is The Power of Habits. I think that's the book. If you see, he'll draw, four squares or four boxes. Then, there is in one of the box is the goal. So all that I am doing is to achieve this goal. I mean, suppose, I get a phone call. Should I attend to that phone call or not? There is no sense of urgency there. There are certain things we attend, they might or might not contribute to the goal. But if the goal is in my mind, then it will automatically align my uh, all other activities. If goal is spirituality, all your other activities will be scheduled around your meditation practice. When that sense of urgency, sense of priority is not there, I mean, it's a hodgepodge work, and the results will be like that in anything. I mean, I'm not just talking about spirituality. Even in any work we are doing, if there is no goal oriented work, it will become a hodgepodge work. And you also see the repercussions of that in your life. Then we wonder why God is not helping us. So make a habit of asking yourself this question: what is the most important thing to do on this moment? It will help you recenter and activate the sense of urgency towards your goal. As urgency increases, your eagerness to get to the goal also increases. Question is, what am I here for? What do I need to do? And what is my goal? Become more frequent. So each time these questions surface in your mind, they leave a ripple of restlessness in your consciousness. These ripples linger like the ones on a quiet lake disturbed by the pebble thrown into it. The more our consciousness evolves, the greater the ripples of restlessness. This is something to be understood. Babaji wrote an entire chapter saying my pain. So here the pain is of that restlessness to reach that goal. And he described as if it is the enormous pain, because there is an enormous restlessness to reach that. My entire life, my breath, everything depends on getting there. That is a true devotion. The so-called emotionally, praising to the Lord, hail the Lord, is not going to get us there. So it is a total inner need to be one with it, to be with the Lord, and that is my ultimate goal. Then there is restlessness. There is a poem, basically a song in Hindi, in Indian language. It says, you are closer to my heart, but even that small gap, small distance between you and me is unbearable. So you want to become completely total oneness with it. So that is the kind of restlessness. When it's created, then we can say we are moving in that direction. So that's why somebody asked me, how do I know I'm spiritually progressing? Some very technical people in heartfulness will tell you as you're moving through point 1, point 2, point 5, point 10, like that. But the real progress is when you read that first sentence in the prayer, when I say, thou art the real goal of human life. You are my goal. With what intensity you are uttering that you are my goal. With what intensity you are reminding yourself that is my goal. Tells the progress. You should say that the spiritual anatomy project is an endeavor of growing restlessness for the goal. But don't worry, the restlessness I am writing about is nothing like when you are late for a flight or your takeout is delayed. Neither is it unhealthy restlessness that leads to anxiety and other problems of despair. The spiritual restlessness, it propels you towards the soul's true purpose, to grow and evolve. So this kind of a restlessness is certain inner need. You're always, your heart is always crying for that help, for that progress. So just like the mother attends to the child, you'll be attended when that restlessness is there. If that restlessness is continuous, the God has to be with you all the time and carrying you. Right? So this is when actually the God is carrying you. In that story where, the guy is seeing there is another footsteps were following him. And there are times there are only two footsteps. And then the fourth footsteps. Then he meets the God and he asks, what are those other two footsteps which are following me? And they disappear. God says they did not disappear because you are lifted, because you are in some trouble, you are in some greater need. So I had to carry you. Know that story, Susan? Remember? So, this is the kind of restlessness the God carries us, because all needs, all true needs will be attended by the God. I want lottery is not a need, and God has nothing to do with it. I want to be healed is not a real need. So the real need, real purpose, when it is there, you will be attended, you will be taken care of. So if you have been in love, recall the restlessness with which you waited for the lover. Amplify this many times, and you can get a whiff of the restlessness I talk about. Like I said, the entire life, every breath depends on this restlessness. Truly. And even if you feel it or not, this restlessness is not only for spiritual people, it is there even in animals, rats, cats, even in the insects, birds. This restlessness is there, we don't recognize it. That restlessness is the one which is propelling us to do act in this life. There is a passion for me to do something. Let's say I have a passion for gardening. Where is that feeling of the passion coming from? That passion is certain restlessness. But why do I have a passion? So there is a passion. I don't know where to channel it. I channeled it towards gardening. Somebody becomes a scientist. Somebody becomes a musician. All that which is propelling us to do in our life is this real restlessness. But we wonder, whatever I do, the restlessness is going not, it's not finding its real spot, real refuge. When we receive this transmission for the first time, the soul knows this is what I am seeking all along. So the moment you start meditation, you will see certain uh, contentment, some complacent feeling comes automatically. The reason we get that feeling is because that the heart which has been seeking all along, all through the life, and every life which is seeking that, through this transmission, it knows now I got the real essence, the real thing, what I've been seeking for. Suddenly you will feel everything is subsiding. It becomes complacent. But then it feels it is not enough. Now I want to become the transmission itself. And that's where the restlessness begins again. A true restlessness. And that has no bounds. At the same time, it's the most healthy restlessness you can have. It's not going to create any anxiety. Because what you are seeking is the most subtlest thing. So accordingly, all my vibrations, everything, all my thinking process, my consciousness, everything starts aligning towards it. So here Daji kind of gave us two real ingredients. One is recognizing this need. And once that need is recognized, the restlessness begins automatically. And the second is the attitude. So, attitude of becoming transaction less, no transaction. So, I'll stop here. Any comments, questions? Then we can start meditation.
I have a question. This sense of urgency is not the same as concentrating or focusing in your meditation. It's just the urge to meditate, correct?
The urge to meditate is also there because I want to feel that essence, that higher being close to my heart. So the need is of the different order. And this need is coming from deep down the soul. Because soul is always wanting to meet its creator.
Actually, let me rephrase that. I was thinking more of the earlier part.
Right.
The sense of recentering, asking you what's the most important thing at the time. That's not why you're meditating, is it?
So why you are meditating, whatever the idea might be, the real idea behind every meditation is for that soul to meet its creator. We don't recognize it in the beginning, even after 1 year, even after 2 years, because we are thinking from our perspective. Our conscious awareness, the inner need is already there, even before meditation, even after we are starting meditation. But by doing meditation, we found, okay, now I find the real ingredient to meet that maker. So am I going in the right direction, Cliff, with my answer? Or you're asking something else? I'm sorry.
I think I'm kind of asking something else, what he means by, okay, recenter yourself by asking yourself what's the most important thing. To
Right.
me, it almost sounds like, well, to focus or concentrate, you should ask yourself that question as opposed to just observing, letting it be, and trying to and becoming as a more natural process. You're trying to push it. It seems to me is what he's almost saying, but I don't think that's what he's saying.
Okay. So now I got your question, right? So there, it kind of gave us some questions to pose. So here it says, what am I here for? What do I need to do? What is my goal? Right? These are the questions we ask to recenter ourselves. But I'll tell you, this is just a way of expressing what am I here for? What am I going to think about? What do I need to do? What am I going to think about? I can only think about, oh, I need to do exercise right now. I need to be regular in my exercise. I need to be regular in control my diet. So many things which are all oriented towards the physical self. That is the only answer I get, when I ask these questions. How many, even if I ask million times, the same answer will come to my mind. But what happens is, through the meditation practice, by receiving the transmission, now if I ask what is my goal, the real answer comes is that I need to be one with it. Somehow, the practice of meditation is prompting you towards it. The result of meditation is prompting you towards it. So, after a few meditations, your answer for this, what is my goal? Where do I need to recenter? Where do I need to focus my energies? Is shifting as you practice. Right now, if you ask, this is not, it's only going to tell you what is, on the top of your mind. But once this need kicks in, then this whole answer will change. So asking this question is not important here. It's just a way of, expressing
Okay.
continuity, but asking this question is not important.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. I mean, I do this without thinking of it in this format.
Right.
So I guess it was the format that threw me.
Yep. Okay. All right. So now